Hey, now I know I was supposed to make some other videos that aren't this, but oh well, I have something to say. So as you may or may not know, I am quite the Assassin's Creed fan. When Assassin's Creed 3 was announced last E3 for the Xbox, PlayStation 3 and Wii U, I was pretty excited to play it on the Wii U. I since bought a Wii U over Christmas and looking for something to play, I thought, even though I've had the collection on the Xbox so far, I thought I'll go out on a limb, download the game overnight on the Wii U and just see what Assassin's Creed 3 is like. See how the Wii U holds up. And on that note, it's not bad. I actually think the system's really capable, and for a port, they've done a good job. That said, the game. I'll start with opening comments. So I like Connor as a character, the main protagonist. Oh, by the way, there's going to be spoilers in this video, so if you're not interested in having spoilers spoiled for you, please stop watching. And this is the only time I'm going to ask that of you, but sorry. So Connor's a good character. He's well-rounded. He's probably the most human character that the series have brought up, and I guess in the time it took Ezio to evolve and mature as a person, which is like 3 games worth, it took Connor half a game. I thought, it's a change for the series. I liked the plot twist with Haytham Kenway, his father. I thought that was really nice storytelling, and I thought it was a good place for the direction of the series to be going, in terms of like blurring the lines between Templar and Assassin. I thought there were some really good, almost philosophical questions you could raise, with that sort of dynamic. The mechanics, the game's alright. Like, it doesn't play poorly. My biggest gripe with the mechanics of this game is that from Assassin's Creed 1 to 2, there was a definite progression. Ezio controls much more, with much more precision as Altair does. And in the games subsequent to that, in Revelations and Brotherhood, Ezio chronologically is easier to control. And by Revelations, he's like vaulting up buildings with the freaking hook blade and shit. It's awesome. Assassin's Creed 3 takes a sidestep. It's oversimplified, I think, in a lot of cases. They've recontextualized some of the buttons to just be different button presses in different scenarios, do things that there were already mappings for in Assassin's Creed 2, but they've just sort of rewritten over them for the purpose of, I don't know. And while that may not be a huge issue in some other games, in a game where you've learnt, this series has been going on for like 5-6 years now, where you've learnt certain mappings and you've learnt to do certain things like press a button as you're falling to grab on to a ledge, or repeatedly tap a certain button as you're climbing a building. When those do the opposite thing, it fucks with your brain. And even to the end of the game, I was still learning about how to control the game. So in that way, I think they made mistakes there. Another thing, the game's pacing, it's not as bad as the first game, Assassin's Creed 1, but it's not as good as 2, in that 2 had this nice sort of ebb and flow of epic moments and sort of weaker moments that paced nicely. I think Assassin's Creed 3, especially because it makes all of its systems, all of its auxiliary sort of managing the homestead and upgrading your boat and stuff like that, all those systems aren't really mandatory in any way. Whereas in Assassin's Creed 2, you almost had to do those in some capacity, and they lent to the pacing of the game. Whereas Assassin's Creed 3 tries to tell so much story, it just falls apart in that sense. I didn't walk into a shop once in the entire game. I never had new ammo for my bow. Never once changed anything to do with my ship. It was just sort of nothing, So beyond that, my biggest disappointment, tantamount disappointment, is the ending of Connor's story. Although that's, take it or leave it. If you want to have the Gangs of New York ending, that's fine. Desmond's story, and in fact Desmond's character, is just a disappointment to me. I feel like as someone who's invested this much time, let alone being a fan, I like the series, but as someone who has invested this much time, akin to how you might feel having watched all of Lost and been given the ending that they got given, it's the same. I feel the same way. I feel betrayed. Desmond as a character from the beginning of the entire series, was pegged to be someone who is basically Neo from the Matrix. He is the one guy who can do what other people can't. He can survive the Animus in a way that other people can't. He doesn't turn crazy. He learns much faster than everybody else. By this game, he is godly. You know, he can climb anything. He can beat up anybody. But he's not an assassin. He just... all of the narrative plot points they put him through, all of the set pieces, are just not stealthy at all. There's a point when he has to take on Abstergo, which is the Templars, basically the enemies. They are running a modern day pharmaceutical company, and basically he's infiltrating their headquarters to save his father, because his father's been kidnapped. He pretty much just walks up, kills like 30 guys, then uses an apple of Eden to just mind control everyone, walks out. That's bullshit. That's not what assassins do. That's not what any of the protagonists have done in the previous games. They've all used stealth. They've all been sparing. They've all done what's necessary in an intelligent and covert way. And Desmond just rocks up, just spitting in the face of everything that he's been set up for. And I feel like they've just manufactured that drama. I think the best point from Desmond's point of view in the entire game was just climbing up a building, Mirror's Edge style, just to steal a little document or a little artifact. When he was doing that, that made me feel good. Running into Brazil, into like an MMA match, and like chasing down some guy, and then all of that was bullshit, and I didn't enjoy it. That aside, the ending is atrocious. At the end of the game, you've collected all your MacGuffins, all your little trinkets and stuff to open the vault to the thing, to save the universe, or at least the Earth, which is about to be hit by a solar flare from the sun or whatever. End of the world is going to happen because it's 2012 and Mayans. So you get there, and Juno is there, who is basically like the Greek gods are real, and they're not really gods, they're just sort of demigods. And ever since Assassin's Creed 2, we've been sort of led by the nose to sort of, just kind of hope that there's a bigger story here, something nice, really intricate plot. Basically, I feel like the writers didn't know what they were doing. So you get met by Juno. She's like, oh, press this button, touch this thing, you'll save the world. Then Minerva, another god, rocks up. I think this might be Roman gods. Greek and Roman are the same, right? I don't know. Minerva rocks up. She says, "No, don't do it. It'll save the world, but you'll be enslaved underneath the power of Juno, because you're actually releasing Juno. You're not saving the Earth." So you're basically given a fork in the road, two choices. One option is let the Earth practically perish, which basically means solar flare happens, 90% of the people die, but the world is sort of cleansed, and with that 10%, you rebuild humanity under the liberty of freedom, right? Which is what the assassins have always been fighting for, freedom. Despite humanity's shortcomings, freedom to make the wrong decisions is paramount, is the most important thing. That's been the game, right? Meanwhile, the other choice is to save the world, let everybody be absolved of their mistakes, yet basically be put under slavery from Juno, which is exactly the Templar ideology. It's protect people at all costs, regardless of their freedom, enslave them, it's fine. That's what the Templars stand for. And in the game, as in playing in the 17th century, Connor, or 18th century, you learn that's his message. That's the moral of that story. That regardless, faith is the most important thing. You trust humanity. And the game just says, nope, fuck it. Desmond pushes the button, the world is saved, and Juno takes control. And it's like, what is that? What message are you trying to send me? Are you leading up to something bigger? Because in pressing the button, Desmond dies. So the last 5 games of build-up of you building up this character, you've just thrown it away. And I don't understand that. I feel like leaving that where it is was worse than in Brotherhood stabbing Lucy. Because there's no hope. There's nothing. It's just, you know what? That's the way we choose to end this game. See you later. And I just feel really betrayed in that sense. And it's not fun. It's a sour taste in my mouth having finished the game. And I'm sure there'll be another. And I'm sure things will get resolved in some way. But I think this was a major fumble. I think they dropped the ball. And it's just... I need to get this off my chest. Because other than that, it's actually a good game. Like, my complaints aside, it's still a good 8 out of 10. You know? Anyway, that's my stressing out. Maybe I can go back to making my own game. Thanks for watching, I guess.